Chapman. I'm with Roman Gabriel, the star quarterback for the Los Angeles Rams.
Many years ago.
Many years ago.
Well, this is Walker, Texas Ranger.
Roman was a general, the leading general. He's one that led the offense back in the 60s and 70s
Right.
for the Los Angeles Rams. Roman was surrounded with players like John Arnett, Dick Bass, the Fearsome Foursome, Ed Meter.
Eddie Matter.
He could hit, Eddie Metter. And we're going to talk a little bit about Roman and his playing days with the Los Angeles Rams. Can you share a little bit of experience about some of the best times you had, the good games you've had, some of the players you played with?
Well, the best time was playing with the guys I played with. And you mentioned two of the greatest Ram running backs ever. Mr. John Arnett, when I was a rookie with the Rams in '62, he and Marlon McKeever, who was a linebacker, they sort of showed me the way, showed me the ropes. And Dick Bass, pound for pound, was probably the best running back outside of John Arnett. If I'm not mistaken, in '62, my rookie year, Dick Bass gained over 1,000 yards and led the teams in punt and kickoff returns.
He was fast.
Oh, he was great. He was great. God bless him. He used to come to my golf tournaments. He was a riot. I used to do a golf tournament down in Brunswick County for the high schools, and Dick was there, and we used to do one of the days was for the ladies. And I went out to show the ladies how great Dick could catch, and I threw it and hit him right in the head. But Dick was a great running back. So was John Arnett. And then I got to throw the guys like Billy Truex, the great tight end out of LSU,
Right.
Cajun boy, and Jack Snow, who was from California, played at Notre Dame. I got some great memories, and offensive linemen like Ken Iman, Joe Schiavelli, Tom Mack, Charlie Cowan, who's passed away. Lord David, in fact, 27 of the guys that I played with from '60 on have passed away.
Wow. I remember Jack Snow, throwing to Jack Snow deep.
Yeah.
Gabriel throwing deep to Jack Snow. He never got caught from behind. He would catch the ball over his shoulder all the time.
Jack was, and he wasn't that fast. He just, when he had the ball in his hand, he could run a 4.7 with the full gear. With the ball in his hand, he could run 4.7 in his street clothes, his street shoes. And when he'd retired and was, I was doing a football camp down in Palm Springs, California, and Jack was teaching receivers how to run. And in the practice, we had all the guys run 40s, and Jack ran a 4.7 40 in his street clothes.
He's great. He had good hands, great hands.
Oh, he had great hands. He could catch a ball over his head, running full speed. The ball would drop right over his head. He'd catch the back end of the ball.
Well, every time.
It was very good.
Good concentration. Seemed like he run Chris routes too, didn't he, when he ran?
Oh, we worked at it. After practice, we'd probably spend 30 minutes after each practice, just Jack and I running routes. And if I missed him, I had to run 100. If he missed it, he had to run 100.
Oh, there you go.
So we got where we could really catch and pass.
You guys got where you can read each other pretty well down the field too if you were in trouble.
And you know, when I first came to the Rams, as you're probably well aware, that they had hundreds of quarterbacks coming in and out. And I remember my rookie year, I didn't have anybody to throw to because I was third on the totem pole. So I used to take a bag of balls and line up at the 20-yard line and throw it. Remember, it was the old single bar goalpost.
Right. And
throw it at the goalpost. And if you hit the goalpost, it come back to you. So you got real accurate. If you missed it, you had to chase off the balls. True story.
You didn't want to run. You didn't want to go after those balls too many times. So tell me about Merlin Olsen, your roommate.
Oh, Merlin was the big Swede. Actually, Merlin was a great Mormon. Most political guy I knew, but also would give you the shirt off his back. Just a great guy. And between him and Deacon Jones, they formed such a great combo. Merlin would hold two guys up so Deacon could get the passer. And of course, Deacon was one of the best ever. But for that to happen, you got to have a guy like a Merlin Olsen, just like in Dallas when you had a guy like Bob Lilly and you had a George Andre. Unless you have two good ones, one's not going to be that good.
Right.
But Merlin, for a guy that never pumped weights, he in the summer times, oh gosh, what's that term? And I know it. Hay, gosh, no, you do hay?
Oh yeah, haul hay.
Yeah, but there's a word for it. And here we both are farmers too.
We can't remember. He was like, we used to push hay. We used to throw hay.
Yeah, but you had to pick it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's a word for it.
Stack hay?
Buckhay.
Buckhay?
Yeah, that's it. So all you ranchers and Texans out there, we know what we're talking about.
Merlin was brute strength. He had a lot of strength. I mean, a lot of natural strength.
Natural strength. For a man, when he first came to the Rams, he was 290 pounds. Was too big, but at 290 he had a 34-inch waist. He pared down to a measly 275, and he became the great lineman he was.
Wow, he's fast and strong.
He kept me into a lot, because I was going through ups and downs. They'd bring a new guy and play with quarterback, so Merlin would always put his big hand on him and said, "Now listen, calm down, son." I didn't want to be part of Merlin.
Your time's coming. Tell me about Deacon Jones. I remember reading Deacon Jones. He said that you had the strongest arm he's ever seen a quarterback throw. You know, in practice, he goes that ball would go so fast that he'd lose it because you would throw it down the field so fast.
Deacon not only was so good because he had fun at practice, and when we got the great Bob Brown, who's also in the Hall of Fame, they used to go one-on-one with each other during team practice. Bob would say, "All right, Deke, it's my turn for 5 minutes, then your turn for 5." And they would battle, and both of them, as you know, in the Hall of Fame. And then when I first came to the Rams, I used to wonder why Deacon Jones would run 50s against linemen, backs, receivers, rookies, because the veterans knew that Deacon, for some reason, could run faster in the 50 than he could a 40. And that's how they used to make extra money, betting on Deacon to beat anybody. And I never saw him lose a 50-yard dash.
He was into his time. Go ahead, Roman.
Yeah, Deacon found himself as a singer, and the only song he knew was not sitting on top of the bed, but Along Came Jones, and he'd sing that in the locker room, and somehow he got a connection with the King's Castle in Lake Tahoe, and they invited him to come up and perform for a week and sing. So we all got invitations, a bunch of us, Merlin, myself, McKeever, I don't know how many, it was a bunch of us, all Rams. So we went up to hear him sing, and he didn't do bad. But he lost so money gambling, they made him stay for a month to pay off his debt.
He loved to work.
And I know his wife Elizabeth lives in Las Vegas now, and if she ever sees this, Elizabeth, Deacon never told you that story.
Oh, no.
Tell me a little bit about the Deacon head slap. Now, I know in games, he was pretty powerful at that. He did a lot of moving, but did he practice that also?
Oh, you should have seen him when they had the double head slap. There's no way, and remember in those days, offensive linemen had to keep their hands in here. There was no parrying off blows.
Right.
Once you get the man's head, it's like even Cassius Clay said, or Muhammad Ali, or whatever you want to call him. Great, great boxer, passed away. But there's no way your body could maintain balance when you're getting a double head slap. Because Deacon looked like Sonny Liston. We used to call him Sonny, and it was just as powerful. Now imagine getting a double head slap. Let me show you.
No, it's okay. That's okay. He was fast, and once he got around the corner, he was gone.
Even when they went to the single head slap, it was still hard. And they talk about Lawrence Taylor was great, and I'm just trying to think of the guys they talk about that leads with most sacks in a career. They didn't keep sacks in our day. I know there were games where Deacon might have had 20 sacks in one game.
He was bad. He was tough. He was a hard player. There was a story about Deacon Rayfield Wright. He was rookie with the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, yeah.
And he was lined up across Deacon Jones, and Deacon asked him, "Boy, do you know your mama's out? Mama, does your mama know that you're out here playing football?"
Yeah.
And he just looked at him and didn't think nothing about it. He was just terrified. He was playing against Deacon Jones. And Deacon come across and hit him with a head slap and knocked him out. He was on the ground and he got up, and everybody was getting up after the play was over. And he looked at the sideline. He looked at Tom Landry. And Tom Landry shook his head.
Oh,
So
Deacon hated
up.
quarterbacks. It's when George Allen first came to the Rams, we used to have some live practices, and he'd come in and hit me, and Coach Allen said, "Zeke, you don't hit the quarterback." Deke says, "Well, then tell him to get down." And in those days, you didn't go down.
How'd you stay up? He's tough.
And then one of the greatest defensive ends in football was old Gino Marchetti in Baltimore. But Chicago Bears had a guy named Doug Atkins, was 6'7", about 290 pounds. And when he wanted to play, nobody could stop him. And we had a great left tackle named Charlie Cowan, God bless him, he's gone too. And we used to tell Charlie, now look, remember, Doug don't like to be cut, because if you cut him, he gets superhuman strength. And Tommy Mason, who's gone now, we had just got from Minnesota. Somebody forgot to tell Tommy, and running backs always try to help defensive ends. And I remember starting the game, Doug's talking to, there used to be a little chat on the line of scrimmage, and Doug said, Charlie, you know, we'll have a nice, honest game, just don't cut me in. And Charlie would go, yes, Mr. Atkins, I won't do that. So I remember the first pass play, Tommy Mason, who's trying to help out Charlie, cut Doug. So the next time we went to throw, Doug says, well, Charlie, you better turn around and tell Gabe there that I'm going to pick you up and throw him at you because you had Mason cut me. And Charlie said, no, he's new here. I didn't do it. Come on, Doug. And I'll be doggone if he didn't throw 270 pounds right in my lap. Just picked him up and threw him.
You made his point then, didn't you? You made his point.
But Charlie Cowan should be in the Hall of Fame for a left tackle. He had the greatest feet. He played basketball at New Mexico State. Great player.
He was quick and agile.
Yeah.
Got to play.
And those great hands. We often wonder, does he use those hands to tell his wife how much he loves her?
Tell me about Isaiah Robertson.
Isaiah had so much talent, but he always didn't listen. Maybe the best story about Isaiah is that Fred Dreyer, who was our right defensive end, and Isaiah played outside of him in what we call the buck linebacker or backside, weak side linebacker.
Right.
Well, Isaiah makes an interception, and Fred says on the sideline, says, Isaiah, you were in the wrong coverage. And I says, what difference does it make? I got the interception. Isaiah had a lot of talent, but he had a lot of troubles off the field.
Yeah. Then you had Jack Youngblood on the other side.
Oh, Jack was, I almost thought Jack was going to get killed because old Freddie Dreyer probably didn't weigh more than 215, 20 pounds, but that's the way he played. And Freddie was very good. And Jack lost all the weight to try to play like Fred. I thought he was going to die because he just didn't have all his strength. But when Jack was at 235, 240, nobody was better.
He was a smart player, wasn't he?
Oh, strong, tough, stupid too. You had to be to play that position.
When you guys played, you got offense. Sometimes you got offense and you got defense. Some coaches keep the offense and defense of teams away from each other. It's almost like when you practice, you had to hate the offensive players, and the offensive players had to hate the defensive players, because that's the way you had to practice. That's the way you had to play on Sunday on the teams. But you guys had to have some camaraderie as a team.
We had a lot of camaraderie.
Practice.
We always hung together after practices. What really made our offensive line, because basically the offensive line that Coach Allen took over in '66 was the same one that was, I wouldn't say was real good, but which became one of the best. George Allen's first year in '66, he had us scrimmage against the Fearsome Foursome. Well, our guys rose to the occasion. We moved the ball about 60 yards down the field. We're at the 5-yard line getting ready to score. And Coach Allen blew the whistle. That's it, because he didn't want his Fearsome Foursome to be scored on. But from that time on, our offensive line became one of the best in the league. That was Ken Hyman at center, Joe Schiavelli at right guard, Don Chewy and Tom Mack at left guard, Charlie Cowan at left tackle. And that was before we got Bob Brown. He came later. Our right tackle was a guy named Harry Shue. Can you imagine a name like Shue?
Yeah.
And the hell he called. But old Harry was not bad.
You guys played as a team. You guys you figured it out. You guys could play as a team and played well, and you knew in your head that now if you can do it against our own Fearsome Foursome, we can do well with other teams.
That's exactly right. We made it.
Because you had the Purple People Eaters.
Oh, they
Minnesota.
were good. The leading groups at that time were the Fearsome Foursome, the Doomsday with Bob Lilly, because there was nobody better than Bob Lilly. And then when you went up to Minnesota, you had the Purple People Eaters. You had Alan Page, who was like a Bob Lilly, quick, fast to tackle. And then you had what was his name? Played left end. He's in the Hall of Fame too. Oh, I forgot who he is.
Hold on just a minute. We're going to have to
and then you had Jim Marshall at right defense.
Jim Marshall, Alan Page. We had Carl Eller.
And you know, the Detroit Lions had a great defensive line, but they had no name.
Right.
You had Alex Karras and Roger Brown,
Right.
two of the best.
We're going to continue our discussion about the purple people eaters, the Minnesota defense. We were naming them. We were talking about Larson, Eller. Oh boy.
Well, we had missed Eller, and
Okay.
then you popped me in the head, and I said, too many hits in the head, and it popped right out. Carl Eller.
Carl Eller, there we
He's
go.
from Shelby, North Carolina. And then we went to that mean Steeler team.
Oh, the steel curtain.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh Steelers.
Dwight White, and you said Ernie Holmes.
Ernie Holmes, Joe Green,
Joe Green,
and
L.C. Greenwood.
L.C. Greenwood.
And the linebackers.
Right. We had talk about Jack Ham and Jack Lambert.
And Andy Russell.
And Andy Russell, right.
Boy, what a group they had.
Yeah, they were mean. I mean, the linebackers were mean. The defensive tackles
My
were
buddy,
mean.
one of my best friends that I played college ball with, lives in Greensburg, Pennsylvania. And when I used to get up there to see him, because we had a hunting cabin together. And he said when Lambert retired, he moved up in the woods and is still mean.
And speaking of mean, the helmets, these concussions that these football players are getting now versus the helmets that they're wearing. I want to show you a helmet that Roman Gabriel wore when he played with the Rams. This is the inside of the helmet that the players wore. We didn't have the cushion such as these inside this mini helmet that we show that protects the players now, the ear protection, the ear holes. The helmets that Roman wore when he played was this type. There was no cushion inside there. It was nylon, wrapped around with, I'm trying to say rope, a little piece of rope. And this absorbed the hit that these players get. And when you're hitting from the side, they look at the ear protection. That's not even a quarter, that's like an 1/8 inch thick. When you hit from the side, you're getting hit by the true blow of the helmet to helmet. When you get hit from the top, the head, you can see the nylon will give. And when you give, you're going to hit the top of the head. So the protection these players had in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, they had no protection.
Say what?
You took a blow and you got up and you played.
And show them the difference. The helmets now are sort of round because these helmets are more oval, and wherever the blow was, the helmet took the whole blow
Right.
at the one spot. Where with the rounder helmet, it supposedly spreads it out over, so your whole head gets a concussion.
There you go. Now I'll tell you, this helmet is light, very light. You grab a helmet now, a college helmet, a pro helmet. I think they weigh about 20 pounds.
Yeah.
With all the protective gear inside here. This helmet is very light. I wish you can actually grab it and see. And you can see Roman Gabriel had a single face mask. The rest of these players had more of a face mask to cover the chin, such as Joe Namath when he got his chin broke.
Yeah.
He wore a longer face mask on the front. Okay, the running backs and receivers would have less eyesight up here to protect their face when they get tackled by the arm blows or the fingers or what have you. Roman wore one bar. And
Yeah,
that's
you
what
know
he
how
played with.
when you got a broken nose, how they protect it. Because one game I got a broken nose, several games, but they just moved the bar up here. Then I got 2 teeth knocked out. Well, you know, David, just like when you was in Walker, Texas Range, you had to do it over again. You do it again.
Oh yeah.
I do it all over the same way. Surgeries, because the guys that I played with, and you've met some of them, they love the game, and they give back to people, regular people.
Right.
And for all you Ram boosters out there, I know myself and all the guys I played, we appreciate you because you gave us that inspiration to play. Now, good luck this year.
They'll be moving back to Los Angeles. So I want to ask you, I got to ask you a question. When you were out there playing and you had all these Ram fans that are yelling for you and cheering for you, going down for the game-winning touchdown.
Well, you missed something. There were some that booed you too.
They wanted you to win 24/7. Wanted you to win every game. So they let you know when you're playing bad. They let you know when you're playing good.
You're right. You're doing a heck of a job. You are. You're good at this.
But you.
I knew when you brought your wife in here, you were very smart.
But you got to appreciate the fans and their honesty.
Oh, you have to.
And I know you used to tell me that before games, you used to go out there and talk with the fans and play before the games.
Because after games, you know, in those days when you're making $15,000 or $20,000, and you walk out of the stadium, the fans give you free beers. Anything free was good. Have you ever told these people that you're doing these things for? That how we met? how you used to be a fan of mine. I used to write you back and say, "Is something wrong with you?"
No.
And all these years you've been a fan, and we got together. You came to my house. You've been to my house several times.
Become great. It's been an honor. But when
This will probably be your last show.
when I was younger, I was going through some times when I was younger, and I was at a point where I was probably going to get myself in trouble. And Roman Gabriel had his 1969 MVP year that year, and he was on the Bob Hope Show, and asked Roman, if you had any advice to give to kids, what would you do? Number one thing was get an education. If you can play sports, to get your education, play sports. Not necessarily play pro ball. Get your education and use the sports as a tool to be the best you can be. Even when you go to your job that you do today or any kind of activity that you do today, you always give 100%. And part of sports, when I wanted to be a Roman Gabriel, I wanted to be a quarterback, I practiced over.
Well, you still have hair like I used to have.
Yeah. It's getting thin though, Roman. It's getting thin. But Roman turned me around, and I wanted to be a Roman Gabriel, so I did the best I could in every sport that I could, and I tried to be the best person that I could do. I tried to...
Where did you get this jersey?
Roman Gabriel.
Well, for anybody out there who happens to see this, my man David has an internet site, and he needs jerseys to sell. So, you just tell him the internet site, so contact David so he can talk to you about getting some jerseys. At a cut rate price.
Jerseys is chapmansports.net. And also want to add, Roman Gabriel is open for autograph sessions, for speaking engagements, anything that.
Oh yeah, anything I can make a dime.
Yeah, he's open to that. And if any of y'all are interested in having Roman as a show up as a personality, show up for autograph signing, any kind of speaking engagements, you can always contact or get on our website and contact me at customer service, chapmansports.net, and we can give the message to Roman, where Roman can get you and contact you back, and where you can set something up where he can go out there and work for you.
You were talking about some of the things I had told you. One that I've never forgotten that Coach George Allen gave us. He said a man or a woman without problems is dead. So be thankful that you're alive, because a problem is a challenge waiting to be solved. So do something about it. Don't wait for somebody to move your butt. Move your own butt.
There you go. Roman, thank you very much for taking the
David.
time to
Thank
come to
you.
this interview. We appreciate you. God bless you.
God bless you. You do a super job. I enjoyed
Thank you,
this.
sir.
Very lighthearted. All kind of information we gave.
Ever wanted a mini helmet of your favorite NFL sports team? Come visit chapmansports.net, where we have a wide variety of mini speed helmets, mini replica helmets, full-size helmets of your favorite NFL football teams.